Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Super excited to be with all of you. As you come on, do me a favor, say hi, say hello. I'd love to see a quick location from where you're chiming in today in the chat. Pradesh and I have a pretty cool demo of Leo for you today, which I'm sure you will really, really love and get excited about. So as you're coming in, we have some clear water action in the house. Kansas City in the house. Hi, Jana. Hello, Danny. Alabama broker cadre in the house. Sarasota, Florida in the house. Well, hello, my friends from Vancouver. Good to see you. Wisconsin, of course. Wisconsin in the house. By the way, if you want to go to Door County, Wisconsin, now is the time because it's going to get cooler, very cool, very quickly. New Mexico in the house. My friends from Bozeman, Montana in the house. Well, hello from Charlotte. Dr. Dial, good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Kara, Boise in the house. Hello, Matt Jones and the Good Agent team. Great to see all of you. We're going to get started in about 30 seconds. Super excited to be with all of you. Hello, Miss LeBlanc, Louisiana in the house as well. Hey, as we get kickstarted, super excited to share this with you. I can't tell you how much effort and time and creativity Pritesh and the team have been working on to get this to come on live. So super excited to be with all of you. Another 30 seconds to get everybody going. Hello, Boston in the house. Hello, Gina, Dallas in the house as well. Very, very cool. Super excited to be with all of you. All right. So we want to keep and make sure that our time is spent while we have a very quick, short, efficient demo for you. I think just watching this, I'm going to request that you do two things for us. Thing number one, have an open mind because it's going to change the way you actually utilize and talk to Real, which I'm super, super excited. And the coolest part about this is you don't need to do anything. You don't need to learn anything. You also actually have to unlearn the hard things that you have done before. As Pritesh would say, if this has to come with a training manual, we have failed, right? And that is the cool part here. So number one, I will tell you is, if it were a 9-year-old talking to Alexa, what would that 9-year-old ask? You almost have to go into 9-year-old personality and interact with Leo that way, because let Leo do the heavy lifting for you. That's kind of number one. Number two, you have to promise me something. And all that you're going to promise me is this: for any agent that at Real that you talk to over the next 24 hours, I want you to ask this one question. Hey, have you tried Leo yet? That's all you have to do. People are going to log into the app and see this blue wavy bar and not know what it is. And we have to get people to try it and use it, because as we try it and use it, all our 24/7 concierges get better. So number one, suspend disbelief and be a 9-year-old. Number two, you got to ask folks, have you tried Leo yet? So if those two ideas sound good for you, just give me a 2 in the chat. So I know that you and I are thinking and feeling good. Okay, fantastic. I appreciate you. We're going to do this. So super cool and excited to launch Leo yesterday, and Pritesh is going to give us a demo today. Pritesh, I want to ask one question to kick all of this off. What is the big difference between Leo and a general chat GPT engine that anybody in the world can get access to? Like, what is that big difference, and why is Leo different?
This is a great question. I mean, this was like the biggest question that was being asked yesterday. The simplest way to answer this question is with an example. So if you go to ChatGPT today and you say, what's my pending GCI? It will have no idea what you're talking about, right? It understands the concept of a GCI, probably learned off of some information from like a KW database that's open somewhere, right? And just makes things up, right? So if you go to ChatGPT today and saying, what are my splits? It's not going to understand these things, right? So when it comes to us, what we have done at Real is the underlying technology under ChatGPT, which is the brand, right? Is something called GPT, like, pre-trained transformers, generative pre-trained transformers, or people use large language models. But essentially all it is, it's like it understands the meaning of the sentence. This is the hardest part to kind of like cut through. But am I capped, right? Or have I capped? Or the same questions asked differently, right? But we're not training it question after question. That would not scale, right? So essentially that's the innovation when it comes to GPT. It's truly understanding the meaning and then doing something about it. So what we have done is, this is why we use the word AI loosely, and GPT and machine learning. These are all like inside of AI. And like today, when people say AI, they all mean ChatGPT, right? Like this is what happens when something is so breakthrough. But really, AI is like a big umbrella. So what we have done at Real is like GPT is a part of our solution, right? So when you ask a question, Real taps into the proprietary data that it has. Like over the years, we've invested in building reZEN, which is soup to nuts. Like we literally don't use anything else, right? Soup to nuts, everything is in the database. We've built Real Signature, right, in the last 4 months, and more stuff is coming. And Real Academy, great example. Our Zendesk FAQs, great example. They're very fine-tuned to our information, whether it's standard for all agents, whether it's scoped by state or province, right? Or whether it's scoped to you, the agent, your information. So if I go and say, what is Sharon's GCI? It's not going to answer. You guys can all try. It's not going to work. And actually, people have tried it. I've been reading questions all day yesterday, which is funny. But it's not going to, it's your concierge. It's really guarded with your information, and it's technically impossible to actually tap into someone else's information, right? But that's what makes it different. It's like, it's your information being catered to you.
So I want everybody to understand this, right? This is super powerful. Anybody can go and can pay the $10 a month and get the OpenAI ChatGPT app, and you can say, hey, go write me a listing presentation or property description. Anybody can do that. Whatever it does there is generic, and every time it does it, it may tap into some data and create some results. But what we're trying to say is we're very fortunate, because as we've built a bottom-up system over the years, the reZEN knows who you are. reZEN knows where you live. reZEN knows who your broker is. reZEN knows what transactions you completed. reZEN knows everything about your cap status. reZEN knows that. So when Sharon ask a question, reZEN is able to package that information and say, all right, AI, go use Sharon's information and have a contextual answer to that. The power of that is insane. And the reason, and for someone else to build something like that is very difficult, because we're fortunate to have this data pre-existing before, from a timing wise, when this AI technology came out, right? That's what's super cool. Now building on this gets very, very interesting. I want to get into a demo and share with everybody so that Pritesh, you can show people live. But I want to share my screen for 10 seconds and draw you something pretty janky. And here's what I mean by that. So I wanted to talk to you about AI at Real, and especially Leo. And I would love for you to think about 3 big ways in which you can use Leo, right? And my first big way, and I don't have my iPad today, but my first big way is information. How do you ask quick questions that you would normally call support or go to the app and look yourself or try to dig for? Just how do I, what is, where is, that information is really good. The second component is learning. Hey, how do I do X? How do I do Y? What is this? So that if you're not just looking for a quick answer, you're looking for a quick learning component, how to do something, and you just need a little breakdown of it. And I will tell you the last component of it is the money component. Where is my money? Where are my transactions? What is my status, etc. So to start, just to wrap your head around this kind of 9-year-old model, think about the big pieces. These are all tied to you. These are all tied to, like, what is Sharon's information? What does Sharon needs from learning? What is Sharon going to have from money? So what Pritesh is going to show us is how to activate Leo right now, and start to ask and work through these 3 big topics, which are information, learning, and money. So Pritesh, I'd love for you to maybe share and show us how all of this works.
Awesome. Well, so Sharon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use your account, and reminding everybody this is a test account. So I'll point out when the data doesn't make sense, and I'll explain why. But again, like when you log into reZEN, whether it's in your app, in your phone app, or on your desktop app, what will happen is a little nudge will come up from the top saying, hey, I'm Leo, ask me anything. And it gives you some example ideas and stuff like that. But all you have to do is click on this blue line, and it launches Leo for you. So again, simple. The blue line is always present, and we will make sure that It will always be present. It will always be available no matter which screen you're on, right? And then this is it. Like on the phone, you can actually talk to it. On the desktop, people rarely talk to desktops, so we haven't like done the desktop part, but you can type in a question. So
Pritesh, let's kick it off from let's get people warmed up. Let's talk about the information side. Stuff that people think, stuff that our agents are constantly thinking about saying, oh, maybe like, hey, when does my license expire? Or things that seem mechanical that are annoying to go find.
Sure. Let's start with something very simple. When is my anniversary date? Right. Again, I'm Sharon. So check this out. It's just a straight answer. Right. It's not about it here. You go here, go there. It just answers that question, right? The same thing as like, when does my license expire? Actually, I don't even have to spell check this. Most likely will understand, because again, it goes back to the meaning of the question, right? So it understands that even if I misspelled expired, it knows. And this is the best part about it. So not only does it answer some relevant articles that we think are relevant to this thing. And again, like I think you have a license in Washington in this state, in this account. So it like pings out the Washington part, which is like the link that goes to like very specific to you, right? So this goes back to what we were talking about. It like these are very specific answers for you, right? Some other examples would be, I recently saw one on Workplace, which was very fascinating. It's like, what is my NAID number? And this again is going to come up with your answer for your state. You might have another state license here, which is the California license. So it's pulling up the NAID number for California. And again, remember, these numbers are different, right? What's the real EIN number? Same thing. You're going to get an EIN number for your state, right? Again, we're going to know you a little bit to get the thumbs up and thumbs down. And I want to talk about the thumbs down in a second. But let's power through those questions and I'll go the thumbs up and thumbs down.
Yeah, so just for everyone, while this starts off as you thinking that, oh, this seems really basic, imagine where you don't have to wait. Imagine where you're tired. Imagine where you've been doing 6 showings and you're home at 9 p.m. and you're like, wait a minute, I wonder where I need that number to write this offer. I need that number to put on the CDA. Or I need that number to get my IDX feed set up. Small things like that. Now what you're doing is I don't have time tomorrow to do this. I need this now. I can't wait for support to get back to me tomorrow. It's there somewhere. But having a 24/7 concierge that is pre-trained for you is the answer. All of us don't mind paying for talent. All of us don't mind paying for great people to support us. But the last thing all of us want to do is to train anybody, right? And we also know that training people is really, really difficult. By the time you get somebody ramped up at real, things change. And so as things change, we want to have a 24/7 concierge that is in your fingertips to do that. So while these seem basic, these are major time savers for you.
But here's a cool little question, right? Who's my broker? I mean, this is like, people are joining at such a fast pace that like literally just knowing who your broker is might be like sometimes intimidating. It's there in the app, but now we just expect you to just ask Leo, and like you'll get the phone number, you'll get relevant information just to you based on your license. So again, your license in California here, so the information for the broker from California and the phone number, everything shows up here, along with some more interesting things for you to read about.
Yeah. Pritesh, let's go to like the next phase of this, which is I can get key pieces of information, but sometimes we get questions where agents get stuck and they know that it's not as quick as getting an NAID number or EIN. One of the questions, if we move to the learning phase of this, is like, hey, one of the questions we get often is, and when an agent joins, is like, hey, so I remember Sharon talked about this, hitting elite status. What is elite? How do I hit it? And we get that often in support. So we want to,
yeah, this is great. Let's type it in. So what is elite, right? It will like walk you through the whole thing, and it will tell you, go here to learn more. And if I jump out, it's going to take me to like that exact article. I just want to make sure you see my screen. So I get linked to Zendesk with the details on exactly how Elite works with the video and everything else.
Yeah, so this is really cool just for everyone to notice, right? There's two components that are being served up here. One is a quick answer to gives you a quick summary. So people may think like, oh yeah, I forget whether hitting elite is like the 12,000 plus the 6,000 or is it 12,000 plus 7,000? Like you may miss a number. So you know right away in this what exactly that is. You also know, hey, not only do you get that, not only you get $16,000 in stock, and you also get a post-cap transaction fee that is significantly reduced. You get the information right away. Potentially another question that from an information perspective that agents ask often is, hey, Sharon, like, how do these stock awards work?
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, like a crowd favorite, right? So how do stock awards work? Same thing, it explains you a little bit, it tells you where to go, how to get information, and then it sends you off for more detail, right? And again, I want to point out something, like we had all this information. We have a very extensive FAQ that is maintained and like all that stuff. But like, if you, this is what I do, right? Like human behavior. What is human behavior? Everything that is not your primary goal is a distraction, right? Like it just feels like it's getting in your way. So, and it happens to me all the time. So what's the easiest thing to do when I have a question like this? I just go to workplace, right? Because I can open the app and just type it in a break room saying, hey, someone tell me about stock awards. It's much harder to open the app, then go find the support section, go click on the FAQ, then go to the FAQ, type in awards, and like, and maybe you get like 5 articles replied back to you, and then you pick the one that makes sense. That exercise is, I don't know, like anywhere from like 8 minutes to 20 minutes, right? For an average agent. For me, maybe it's a little less. But here, what we're really hoping is that people abandon workplace when it comes to things like this and come to Leo. You've got a question, you come here, you're most likely going to get the most accurate answer. That's the best part, like getting the most accurate and relevant answer, right?
Pritesh, there was a good question in the chat about, how do you get contract help? And let me frame that as a thought process for a second, right? Well, as we launch and get Leo adopted across our ecosystem, as far as contract help goes, each of our brokers are the CEOs of their states. We all work for our brokers in our states. It's very important. Contract help is very different from state to state, so we got to make sure that's done right. What we want is, there's different state related materials on, hey, how do I do X in California? How do I do Y in Minnesota? How do I do Z in New Mexico? We will make sure that those articles get plugged in. But at the end of the day, I would tell you that when it comes to a state specific contractual thing, please, like, let's do it right and lean on your broker for now, right? Contractual stuff, I would lean on a broker. But as we build out a state specific contract library, a lot of this stuff will show up, which would be really, really powerful. So that's
that does bring up an important point, which is the very first comment that Leo puts out. This is like our legal, who's trying to protect us, made us put this sentence in, right? Because the thing is, at the end of the day, this is a cutting edge breakthrough technology, and we've worked really, really hard to make sure that it serves you accurate information. But there is a chance that it's, if you say, how do I get a contract help? And if it starts answering, we've guarded these questions so that if it doesn't know, we would rather just not answer than make things up. But this is the other thing about ChatGPT and all these GPT technologies out there. It will just start making things up. And we've gotten to a point where people like just start believing it just because it sounds like English.
Yeah.
Right.
Pradesh, I want to one more topic about information. We talked about information and learning. Let's talk about learning for a second. A lot of times, folks, when they join Real, even real agents, when I talk to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, I had no idea that mastermind existed. I had no idea, that this training existed." I'd love to maybe do something like, when is the next mastermind, or like how do people, is that integrated as well?
Yep, all of Real Academy, and all of Zendesk is all integrated in here. So here's two beautiful things in this question, by the way. First of all, it realized that it didn't like actually give you a specific answer, but it gave you a choice of masterminds below, right? So there are two things happen here. You can obviously go here and we'll take you directly to Real Academy Mastermind. But if there's a question once in a while where Leo thinks that it couldn't help you, it will prompt a support ticket, right? Option. And watch how beautiful this is. Like I click this, it creates a support ticket in your behalf. It uploaded the whole thread. It uploaded this whole conversation in a support ticket, went to our support team, and Everything that the support person needs to know about this conversation is already sent over to them in your behalf. So you will, this is it. This is the act of creating the support ticket in the future. That's how we see it. Right. So to answer your first question, Sharon, the masterminds are right here, but like something else happened which got me excited. So
Well, no, I will tell you, I think people are missing, Helen picked it up. I won't, people are missing the point on this one. The creation, the one-click creation of that support ticket is, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you, is insane. You know why? I'll give you an example. I think I have a great relationship with almost all our agents that I know almost all of you personally. I love you. None of you want to write a support ticket. None of you want to contact support. You're actually irritated and frustrated because now you actually have to contact somebody for help. And then you're on your phone, you're, getting ready for an appointment. And you're like, man, I have to tell support everything that happened related to this, that they can help me. And you start typing and then you get a text and you get distracted. Then you start typing some more. Now you're frustrated. Then you're like, man, I have to give them a screenshot. I don't know how to upload it. And they're like, oh, I can't believe I have to do this. I'll just call somebody later. And then you're just frustrated. I will tell you this. This happens all the time. By the way, if this has ever happened to you when you get irritated about creating a support ticket, can you give me a 0 in the chat? Like a 0. Can you give me a 0 in the chat where?
Hey, Sharon, someone's talking in the background. There's a female person in the kitchen that's not muted, and we can't hear anything.
Got it, man. We'll take care of it.
I don't know who that person is, but they're not paying attention, obviously.
Yep, we got it.
But we have 4 stars.
I got it. Thank you so much. Hey, Leo, how do you mute somebody?
Leo walks out, comes out of the digital avatar, becomes a human being, runs to their apartment. This is the mute button.
Yeah, so I think what Pradesh said here was super powerful. What I would love for you to notice this is that it gets really, and our support teams can't really help because here's the number one issue with support. An agent emails support with a question. Support does not have enough information to answer the question. Support emails back asking for clarification. Agent is on the road, shoots some clarification back that they're busy and it's incomplete. Support shoots another message back. Agent shoots another message back. Agent frustrated, support frustrated. No one's happy. Like this happens all the time. And this is like, if I didn't tell you this, we're not being honest with ourselves. What support needs is the ability to say, oh, I knew exactly what Sharon was searching for. And so I can help Sharon right away. Now, with this, what the team has done is Leo packages all of this up. The question that was asked, what was stuck, how it was broken, and sends all of it to support. You don't have to open a ticket. You don't have to create the question. You don't have to go field by field. You don't have to say, can you help me? You don't have to take screenshots. You don't have to do all of that because now it allows our support team to get smarter and serve you better, right? Small things like this are super powerful, which is why it makes your life easier and also makes our life easier to serve you, which is super important.
Let me make this a little fun. Any Star Trek fans here? 3 for a Star Trek fan. Let me do a Sharon. Type 3 for a Star Trek fan. Okay, so Borg. There's this, for people who don't know Star Trek, there's this mega villain Borg, and it's like always learning and like it's spreading really fast. So when you give us 1 thumbs down, what you're really doing is you're training Leo. So when Leo misses a question, the best thing you can do today, if you ask me, like, Pritesh, what's the one thing you can do for us? Thumbs down. When Leo does not answer something correctly, thumbs down. So today, in the last 24 hours, we're around 18% thumbs down, right? Which is honestly exceeding our expectations because people don't thumbs up, people thumbs down, right? So when the answer is right, there is sometimes people thumbs up, but most of the times they'll just move on. They take it for granted, which is exactly what we want to do. Thumbs down is very powerful for us. When you give us thumbs down, we realize something was not answered correctly. Someone in our team looks at that question, fixes the question, whether it's a Zendesk article, whatever it is, and then it's the board. Everybody gets the answer next time. And this is the best part. In the next 2 months, we will probably be able to do 99% of the questions in Leo. Right. And this is the reason to streamline support in here, right? So something very basic and something extremely complicated. So maybe we can go to some more complicated things. But I want to encourage people to think about Leo as like a true concierge. I know it's very hard to like say, oh, I don't know if I should ask this question. Ask the question. Ask the question. Like refrain from going to workplace, ask the question first to Leo. And soon Leo will, by the way, like just like start answering on workplace. That's another project of ours. Like it's just going to answer questions in workplace. But we don't want to do that. We want you to come to Leo, but listen, it's going to take time. Like people, change is hard. So
This is really good. And as you bring up, Leo, and let's talk about, so we talked about information, which is really great. We talked about learning, which was awesome. I want to talk about money. And probably a significant portion of our inbound inquiries and support is related to money. And the big part, when I say money, it's here's what you're thinking, but you don't want to say it. What you're thinking is, hey, where's my money? That's what you're thinking. But instead you're thinking, well, how should I ask this question without offending somebody? So what we're like, we just want you to ask the question, where's my money?
So let's say I ask, where's my money? Now, this is where it truly becomes very smart. Like what it's doing is it understands what you're truly asking. Then it looks at all your data and reason. And then it says, okay, based on what you're asking, there are a few transactions that are in the zone of where you could be expecting some money. Because remember, if you just put in a transaction, it's not going to actually like answer that. Like it just started. There's no money to be owed, right? But if you are in a situation where a transaction is, documented, commission document generated, or like it's too close to the escrow date in Canada or whatever, like if it's close, if we know that is a possibility that you're expecting money for this, it will pop up that transaction. So here you go. It answers is like, I can't answer this question because I don't know which transaction you're talking about. So can you tell me which one? In this example, there's only one. So I pick the transaction and it gives me an option. So it's smart. And you will see this pattern a lot. When you pick, we'll give you options, you pick, and it will suggest the next questions to ask, right? And it will get better. We have like insane plans on this thing. Before now, it says like, what's the payment status on this transaction? So I just pick this and I tap this in. Now what you've done is you've told Leo, tell me what's up with this transaction. And like, we're going to clean this up, but it tells you exactly what's going on. The transaction is not closed yet. And the agent hasn't uploaded any papers. Right. So this is spot on. Like this is what's going on with the transaction. So if you are blocking us, you will know exactly what's blocking, get the payment. And if we are blocking you, you'll be able to create a support ticket from here, but you most likely you will actually have a status, a response that will say the money was sent yesterday or something like that. Right. So at least like, this is much, does everybody agree? This is much faster than sending a support ticket.
Yeah. If you like this, can you find the $ and like give me a little $ action here? Like I would really appreciate that. Hi, Krista.
Let's do one more fun question, right? You can say, what's my last transaction? You can do a lot of questions, by the way, like just ask like top transactions, like top referral, whatever, right? So I'm just asking these, and these are like some example last transactions. Here's something cool. And you can do this for a lot of stuff. You pick the transaction, it says, can you summarize this transaction or give me a complete description of this transaction? Okay, ready? Take sound.
Dude, this is awesome. I have not seen this yet. This is so cool.
Can you, Sharon, can you just for the sake of everybody else, like let's read through this thing so that I can you can point out exactly how powerful this is.
Yeah, so it says this transaction is a property located on, XYZ Pacific Highway in San Diego. It was created on November 29th by Aphrodite and has an estimated closing date of November 29th. The acceptance date for this transaction is November 22nd. The commission payer for this transaction is this client. The transaction has an approved CDA, which was issued on this date and can be accessed through this CDA document, which I'm assuming clicks right into the CDA that will.
Into a CDA. Yeah.
This transaction was approved by the broker and was processed as a split check. So you know exactly what happened. The transaction has 12 participants. So you know all the pieces of the puzzle of the people that are involved. It talks about Colin, Caitlin, Sharon, Jeanette, everybody in our fake transaction here. And it tells you the commission deposit amount, which was $3,240, and it was confirmed on X date.
That's crazy. This is a combination of like, I think 5 or 7 screens in reZEN, if you get to them.
By the way, here's the interesting part. If our support team member had to create this summary for you with a question, it would take that support team member maybe 30 to 40 minutes per deal, per question that you ask for.
100%. 100%. Because they would be, here's the thing, they could probably answer it in 10 minutes, but they will spend 30 minutes making sure they're right. This is the hardest part about this business. They don't want to send you anything wrong because it could really trip everything. So they spend a lot of time verifying everything that they're writing down, right? So
Yeah.
again, like I'll ask the same question again, and this time I'm going to summarize it. So instead of saying, give me a complete thing, summarize this thing for me. This is another fun thing with it. Like it's a different variation of this. But again, like you might find these gimmicky, but I think it's like to a point where once you start talking to Leo, you'll feel that it intercepts and understands what you're trying to do, right? And it will offer up solutions that we think you're trying to do. Of course, you can keep asking questions and stuff like that, right? It will get better and better. But again, like,
but here's the interesting part. Let me give you all a use case on this. If, for example, you and I were chatting, right? Someone, by the way, people will call me in a random way, and we're going to get to this in a second. We'll be like, hey, Sharon, can you help me with my business? And I'm like, bro, like, you got to give me a little context. Like, you have nothing, like, where are you? And so if you asked me, hey, can you help me with my business? You know what I would tell you? Yes, share screen and pull up Leo. And then you'd be like, why? I go, I want you to write, give me a summary of my transactions, because I want to see everything that you've done so far. I'm like, all right, you have 4 buyer deals, 3 seller deals, and 1 lease. Awesome. I know what I would ask you. Hey, where did those 3 buyer deals come from? You were like, hey, that all 3 of those came from Pradesh as my referral source. Hey, where did these 3 seller deals come from? They came from my geographic farm. I'm like, awesome. Why are you running Facebook ads? Like, do you see where I can actually help coach you, right? Now, when you're talking to your coach, it should be the same exact thing. When they ask you a question, you should literally pull up Leo and say, ask me whatever question. I can type it in and give you the summary of my business. You want to be able to use Leo to help you make decisions quickly, so that whoever you're talking to is can help you with that real-time decision. And this brings us to kind of like parts of what the future looks like.
So what I did was while you were doing this, Sharon.
Yeah.
I asked that question. Summarize my work at Real.
That's insane.
So again, this is a test account, so a lot of zeros, but
Yeah.
but you can see how it has everybody should try this, right? In their accounts and see what happens, but it actually summarizes it pretty well.
So here's, and I've not even talked to Pradesh about this, but the cool thing that we can work on is I would go to Pradesh and be like, hey, Pradesh, I would like to create a executive summary report. And Pradesh will say, well, what does that mean? I was like, Pradesh, I want 10 points related to an agent's transaction. And so when you were going into business planning season, I was like, Pradesh, can we create an executive summary so agents can take their deals and then build their business plan for next year? And instead of you looking back and figuring out everything that you did, you can go to Leo and say, hey, give me Sharon's executive summary. It will give you the 15 points, and then you take that and you build your plan for next year, right? So now we can create the right dashboard. And I'll work with you and Andre on that, because we have all the data. We need to create an executive summary so people know exactly where they are, and that allows them to see a snapshot of their business as well, which is super powerful.
100%.
So I have one more question for you. We've started getting in our alpha, in our test group, we're seeing a lot of questions around, hey, in the last training, Sharon talked about a deal of the week, or in this, we did a business plan thing. How do you, can you talk a little bit about integrating future learning, coaching modules, et cetera, into Leo?
This is the best question. So again, we're talking about Leo and what he's doing today. We worked really, really hard. Doesn't excite me. It will do a lot of stuff, but what excites me is what will happen in Rise, or what will happen in December, right? Some of the things that we can't talk about, but we fully expect Leo to be able to write your plan for you. So imagine a daily coach. Imagine this concept of a daily coach, right? So Sharon, you go and you teach people so many things, right? And there's always this audience, 100 people, right? 10 will take meticulous notes, run your plan, and send you updates saying, oh my God, this worked, right? 50% of the people think, great idea, I'm going to do it someday. Forget, right? They're busy, better things to do. 40% land in the middle somewhere. That's my guess, right? So imagine a day you wake up You put a listing in reZEN, right? And again, we think it's going to be through Leo. So we think like you're just going to say enter a listing, new listing, this address, this price, this commission. It just does it for you, right? So that's step one. Now you move on because this is the hardest part about this technology. People don't know what to ask, right? You wake up the next day and Leo's like, here's your listing plan. Here's your day one strategy. Combined with like Sharon's playbook XYZ, right? Here's the Real Academy mastermind for this. And here's how you go get buyer.
So good.
Right?
So
Day
good.
two, here's your Instagram post for this. Day three, here's your TikTok video for this. I don't know. I mean, like we can generate videos, by the way, like some ridiculous ones, right? Like, so this is always going to be work in progress, and it's all in on this, right? This is the interface.
But here's something super powerful. What Pritesh is saying is we are asking for your help to not have boundaries on your questions. So if you said, so there was a question about, hey, can I talk to Leo in my car? Yes, right. You have your phone and you can talk to Leo in your car because it's, your phone is voice enabled. Now talking to Leo on your desktop is a little strange, but it'll work. But talking to Leo on your car is way cleaner, right? But if you said, well, I've got this listing, how do I find a referral agent in Florida? You should ask that, because if that use case for some reason we have not dialed in, we have the information to be able to do that. We just got, I think our team sent us like 25 or 30 questions related to, hey, what is Sharon's deal of the week? And I was like, oh, everyone's interested in this. I'm going to build a Leo specific module on the deal of the week next week, so that now when someone asks a deal of the week question, it breaks it down quickly for everybody and it's easy to access. So we would say, don't hold back on your imagination. Even if you think it feels lazy on your part, please do that. When I say lazy, it's like, hey, can someone get me this listing, find me a buyer, get me a referral fee, and send it to me while I'm in the Bahamas? Ask it, right? Even though that's aspirational, maybe we can do 2 out of 3 things, which is really, really powerful. Like, I'll give you a very simple example. People don't realize the use case around this. And Pritesh and I were talking, we're like, well, why would you build Real Signature? Well, this is why, right? If Andrew Dwayne in El Dorado Hills, California says, I'm looking for an agent in Orlando, Florida, and Leo pops up saying, hey, you're looking for Christine Smith in Orlando, Florida. And she's like, yes, I would like to send Christine a referral agreement for this listing. And literally there could be a button that says send referral agreement. We know both brokers. We have Real Signature. We know Andrew's information. We know everything. We could auto send everything. Do you know how complex and irritating it is to send a referral agreement? Many of you don't even send one because you're like, oh, I've got to get the broker information. I got to get EIN information. I got to get broker ID. This is within Real. It's messy. Can you imagine outside of it? Like, it's really great. But now, since we have the signature platform integrated, it makes contractual management super easy too, right? So now we can do everything in line for you. So we'd love for you to push the boundaries, because the sooner you can push boundaries for us, it's more powerful. And I will tell you this, Pritesh, I'll let you talk about this one thing. It is our job to envision and create the platform for the product, but you always talk about, hey, once the product is done, now it is your job as the agent to teach us how to use it.
Agreed. I think this is the best part. So if you want us to improve this, right? The best thing you can do is just ask these questions, because we have a whole team now dedicated to looking at downvotes and questions that we missed, right? So best thing you could do is downvote the question, right? Aggressively. And because that is input for us, and that will give us ideas. So if like 100 people today went and asked the same question, we know we have to prioritize that question. Like, nobody has to like pitch the idea to us. We have the data. We know it's the same question, same category. We just need to fix it, right? So that, and then be adventurous. Like, I think asking questions to Leo, for example, there are a few people who've asked this. Hey, how do I get a new listing? Or I have a new listing. How do I market it? Or create a 15-day marketing plan for, listing XYZ in California, or write me a listing description for XYZ. It can answer these questions. We just didn't talk about it because ChatGPT can do that, right? But you should use this. Don't pay for ChatGPT. We're giving it to you, right? But ask these questions here, because then we know what you're asking for and we will make them special. What most people don't understand is how to use ChatGPT. That's the harder part too. Is like there courses after courses on what the right prompt is, right? Just do this, we will create the right prompt for you, right? Or we will do secretly some massaging on your question and make it better. But just use this instead of ChatGPT, right? I'm not going to tell you which model we use, but of course we didn't build our own model, but we are experimenting with many models. One of them is ChatGPT. But if you use this thing, we can see we even look through the responses, by the way. That's the other thing. So when interesting question comes up, we look to the response and see if this response was good or bad, right? And if it's good, then we know something is working. If it's not good, then we work on that too, right? So
I will also, during this time, I'm going to encourage all of you to do one thing, which is we say, aggregate markets are down roughly 21% year over year. Aggregate markets are down. Maybe in your market, you're down 3%. Maybe in your market, you're up 6%. Whatever it may be, aggregate markets are down 21%. So if you are feeling a little bit of a pinch, if you're feeling a little bit of a drying up in the pipeline, you should say that, hey, it feels like my business is down this year. I'd like new ideas on how I can reinvigorate my business without spending any money. Like, you should ask these questions. Whatever is the inner feeling that you have that feels weird to call somebody and ask, you ask Leo, because now we have the ability to know what is top of mind for you so that we can build things that can help you directly. Right? So super cool. So Pritesh, one if you could bring us home on the future, there are, between now and the reason you launch Leo now, between now and Rise is going to be a bunch of learning. What can folks expect between now and Rise, and what is the best feedback they can? Is it utilizing Rio? Is it giving it thumbs up? Is it giving it thumbs down? What is the best way for all the agents to help make Leo better?
I'll give you two. One is, you've got a question, go to Leo first, right? Feel free to go to Workplace and stuff like that too. And two is aggressively download, right? And I know the stats are going to look really bad for us when you download, but that doesn't matter. Like, what matters is, did Leo work or not, right? So if it is like aggressively downloaded, that's okay. Let's download so we can learn from it. And I'll say one thing about Workplace. One of the things that we're excited about doing, I don't know if I can promise this by Rise, but by at least by December, is we are training our own model out of all the information that's in Workplace. So I'll give you my favorite example. There was a post, and it was like a very funny post, and I keep remembering it. There was a listing, and it came with a turtle in the backyard. It's like, the turtle has a house, you can't move the turtle. So when you sell the house, the turtle stays. How do you deal with this? Now, this is an amazing question, because like, how frequently does that happen? But there are answers that other agents gave and thumbs up on. The other agents thumbs up their answers. That's in Workplace. This is pure intelligence. This is pure data, like really valuable data that's in Workplace that Leo is going to start mining. So then at some point, Leo will be able to answer this question. Like, how do I take care of the turtle in the back of the house? That answer is available. So our goal is to like mine Workplace for like really smart conversations and learn from that. That will be the true, breakthrough for us, right?
Pritesh, from a mechanical perspective, could you very quickly share your screen and show what the upvote is and what the downvote is, just visually, so people know exactly what that means?
Absolutely. So, okay. So when you're asking questions, there's a little thumbs up and thumbs down right here. All you got to do is click that. So if you like this, summarize this transaction, you click the thumbs up. And if we missed on something, for example, well, we didn't miss much, but anyway, if we missed something, you just do thumbs down here, right? And that's it. That's all. You want to copy the response, you can copy it too, but like, that's all. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, that's what we mean by an upvote or a downvote. So just so everyone is familiar with that. Questions, thoughts. We'll spend maybe a couple minutes just taking some questions, thoughts from folks. If you have a question or a thought, or you're like, hey, you like this. So let me guide your questions and thoughts for a second. Number one, if you are excited and you think this is fun and you think you're going to be utilizing Leo to do something, you say, hey, I'm going to utilize Leo to do X. Please drop that in the chat. Or if you have a question or you're like, hey, can I do Y? Please drop that in the chat. So either it's I'm going to do X, or can I do Y? So it'll give us a little guidance around it. So just give us, what do you think you might be using it for, which would be super helpful for us. Or if you have a question or a thought, drop that in as well. There's a couple of questions on how can we get this out from a promotional perspective. So a couple of quick things. I will, please make sure you like at least follow me on some social platform, or at least reel on some social platform, because this week Pritesh and I are posting various Leo promo videos to get it out there. And I will tell you our internal version of this. You may think that we're posting it so that the world knows about Leo. I will tell you our internal goal. We are posting it so that all our agents know about Leo. We are trying to make sure that we're trying to get the word out by saying, hey, you may not check your real email. You may not check the app. We want to do whatever it takes. Like every single real agent should open the app and say, here's Leo. If you had opened the app, you should see my video pop up saying, hey, here's Leo's live. But if you could talk to people and say, hey, have you tried Leo yet? I think it would be super helpful. Marlene says we will use it for questions and we'll use it for questions and scripts for video and posts. Yeah, super good. Probably we'll use it to begin with. What is the status of transaction? Where's the payment? Yes, super cool. Shared stuff among the agent body, like listing presentations, buyer presentations, etc. More on that's coming, by the way, close to Rise. How do we try it as a question? So FYI, when you log into your app, either on mobile or on desktop, you will see a blue wavy line. As soon as you click that, that's how it opens Leo. So you'll always see this blue wavy line. Charles says, Leo didn't understand a reel written like the logo, which I programmed on my phone. I have to remember to use like, yes, you kind of have to do that. I'm going to ask Leo questions. Would I call my sponsor for? Exactly right. This is a great question. It says, hey, I feel like a dumbass for asking you this, but like, thank you so much for your honesty. You can tell Leo that too if you'd like, but you don't have to. Just ask the question, especially if it's later at night, which is super cool. Dr. Fabian says, hey, we have a meeting with agenting on our team, so we'll make sure everyone knows about Leo. All we ask is this: download the app, click the blue wave, ask it a question so that you get in the workflow of asking and talking to Leo, because the more you use it, the more it can serve you, right? Pritesh, Britt asked a good question. Can ChatGPT, you can tell the bot what you wanted to know? Will we be able to feed Leo information about us, our business, our market, etc.?
Yes. So Leo is, when we create that concierge instance for you, it's already pre-programmed with like, a bunch of context in that instance. I saw his question before as well, and I want to talk about it. So I've seen instances where people are trying to teach Leo things, right? And we have guarded it so that the information doesn't leak from one place to another. Imagine like, I've seen questions where, can Pritesh dance? I mean, yes, I can, but if Pritesh, listen, but if the answer is no, that's fake news, right? So like, I don't want someone else to like train Leo, but what we are working towards is understanding the tonality of the agent yourself. So there will be a point in time where you can tell Leo something you want Leo to understand you better. So for example, your tone of writing your listing presentation, your tone of writing your marketing plan, your voice, how do you think? I'm funny, I'm this, I'm that. And we will take that as an input and train Leo voice a little bit towards yours. So when we are giving you marketing advice or listing advice, it will be toned for your voice, right? So that's something we're going to definitely do. But like, agents training Leo is super dangerous if we open that up, because it can creep in and could become pretty hostile very quick.
Got to watch the AI. Awesome. So, hey, we appreciate you all so much. We'll spend another 10 seconds on this. So the two things, if you've a lot of folks that are new to Real that have joined us, the two things that you must do are, number one, download the Real reZEN app from the App Store and just get set up once. So once you log in, it'll just be there for you. It is the business in the palm of your hands. And by the way, you want the app because of the updates that we are excited to show you that's coming during Rise. It's going to blow your mind. So we're super excited for that. Number two, just get logged in on desktop. My request to you is to use Leo once today and tell somebody about Leo tomorrow. That's it. Just use Leo once today. Tell somebody about Leo tomorrow. That's the cool part. And Rebecca said it really well. We just added an extra team member to our team without having to train them. That's the cool part here, right? We don't want you to have to train folks. Like, we want to make sure that we can keep feeding it information. And this is just the beginning of a bunch of cool things that can happen. Yes, we'll be able to create a CMA. Well, how about this? If you can do it, Leo should be able to do it. If you're going to go click a bunch of screens, enter a bunch of information, like, Leo should be able to do it significantly faster, or at least get you a draft that you can do super quick. So I'll give you a very simple example. A lot of times, people will talk about, oh, you need to send a CMA to everybody in your database in Q1. Like, I will tell you right now, that is the dumbest idea. You know why? Because it's going to take you hours to put together a CMA for each house or each client and send it out. You may think that's great, but when somebody gets a packet that this thick, they don't want to do anything with it. And by the way, this has been proven we ran 2 geographic farms and nobody likes it, right? What you want to do instead is you want to send one little executive summary, which is a property update, property CMA. If once our APIs are plugged in, if you can say, hey, generate an executive summary for 123 Pineapple Street, and it pulls that out and you click PDF, that's it, you're done. So now you can have your virtual assistant or your team member say, hey, here's a list of all my private clients. Here's a 50 homes that I've sold in the last 2 years. Make a 1-page market update on this one. They put in all the addresses and boom, it spits it out. Now you can get that entire process done in 40 minutes, as opposed to 5, 6, 7 weeks of this stuff. Right? Small things like that are really important. So I would click out of the way of how the traditional coach that tells you to pop by with a cup of coffee tells you to do it, but more, what can you do immediately that can supercharge your business?
Yeah.
Right?
And again, I will say that there's a very good chance that the next 3 months might feel underwhelming. Like, a lot of work went into this thing, but it might feel like, create a marketing plan, it's not doing the perfect job. Create a listing plan, not doing the perfect job. Create me at Rise, I would like to be in a situation where Sharon's standing on the stage and he says, hey, Leo, create a listing presentation for me. And it bangs out this amazing listing presentation with like PDF pictures, everything like done. And all you did was give an address, right? It's not going to do it today, but that's where we want to go. Right. So.
This is so cool. Hey, everybody, I want to, this is an awesome time. I would love, if it's cool with you, to do me a favor, and love to congratulate Pritesh, Andre, and the entire team for pulling this entire thing together to launch for you. So if you can just give me a 5 in the chat as a 5 hand wave, that a really good job to our team for thinking ahead and building something awesome. It will be super, super cool. So thank you so much, Pritesh, dude. Super congrats to you. In 2 years, we've built something that is insane, and super kudos to your team for creating this for us.
No, this is fortuitous. It's like the timing was there. We had all the technology that we were investing in and building from ground up, right? And then GPT came along, and it was like an automatic, right? But like, I think we may be the only company that can do this in a meaningful way, because you have to build everything else we built, right, first. So I think the quantum leap for real is coming. It's just a matter of time. So
thank you all for being with us. Here's what you're going to do. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to post a new Leo video on my social stream, Protector social stream, and Real social stream. What I'd love for you to do is share it. Just click share, because what we really want right now is we want all our agents to make sure they're aware of it. Like, I could care less about the entire world. I just want us to be able to utilize it because we built it for us. So watch my feeds in like next 5 minutes. I'll make sure the post is up, and please share it, because that would mean a lot to us, because I would love all our agents to know more about Leo. So that'd be awesome. Hey, Pritesh, appreciate your time. Thank you to you and the team for building something great. More great updates coming your way. We appreciate you all, and we'll talk to you very, very soon.